Perfect. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's iteration of the Summer Innovation Series. I think you guys are in for a really great treat today. We have a lot of really good information to just relay out to you. Just a quick intro to the Summer Innovation Series for anyone who has not been with us over the past few weeks. I want to just show you a little bit about what you will be seeing and what you can catch up on over the past few weeks if you've missed anything. The Summer Innovation Series is a something that the Ohio Apex Accelerator and Ohio Small Business Development Centers offer each year so that small businesses that are interested in innovation, that have a huge vested interest in R&D efforts can understand where those resources live around Ohio and even still in the federal landscape there as well. The Summer Innovation Series includes a plethora of training events that highlight cyber sitter. We also have some information on foci. Lots of experts from all over the innovation space are joining us throughout the summer, including Air Force Research Labs, NASA Glenn, Homeland Security Innovation Hub, and more. And with that, today's presentation will feature leadership from the Defense Innovation Hub. We have today Mr. Craig Zamary. He's actually the director of the Homeland Security Innovation Hub, HSWERX, if you are familiar with that, as well as his presentation today on what the Defense Innovation Hub is and how it can support you all. We also have a small business perspective that you can relate to. We have Ms. Justine Blank of Engineered Products of Ohio, and then Mr. Ed Kiernan of Stream Engine. These two have, if you remember from last year's Summer Innovation Series, they have presented with us before and have a lot of great success in the innovation landscape, as well as a lot of great information that they can roll out to you to show you how to navigate the waters of your R&D efforts as well. Like I said, we have a ton of great information this morning, so I am going to stop my conversation and then go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Craig Zamary for the presentation on the Defense Innovation Hub.
Thank you very much, Stacia. Can you see the slides okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. And again, we really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. Special thanks to you, to Joey Scott, and then the entire Apex Accelerator team. Everything that you're doing to empower innovators across the country. I know that we're proud to work hand in hand, our organization, with Apex Accelerators all across the United States. And I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to present alongside what you'll hear right after me, Ed Kiernan of Stream Engine and Justine Blank of Engineered Products of Ohio today. So with that, again, my name's Craig Zamary with DefenseWERX, serves as director for the Homeland Security Innovation Hub, known as HSWERX, and it's an honor and pleasure to be with you all. If you look to the left side of this slide, you'll see in the center of all the circles, right in the middle you see is DefenseWERX. DefenseWERX is our headquarters. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. The circles that surround our headquarters, those all represent innovation hubs. All 10 of our innovation hubs are under Title 15, which is Partnership Intermediary Agreement, and that's with other U.S. government agencies all throughout the United States. You can see our hub that's highlighted at 9 o'clock, HSWERX, the Homeland Security Innovation Hub. We entered into a Partnership Intermediary Agreement with the Department of Homeland Security S&T 22C in 2021, where we work with amazing people, teams, and partners there to really support DHS and all the components, and bottom line up front, really help them solve challenges as rapidly as possible. Our mission at HSWERX is to enable the rapid discovery, engagement, and acceleration of innovative solutions for the safety and security of the homeland. I'm going to talk just very briefly about some of our other hubs. Keep in mind, we work very, very closely with all 10 hubs. We do a lot of collaboration together and work to really help get our government partners there faster. So right above our hub, you may have heard of SOFWERX, which is at approximately 10 o'clock. They're partnered with USSOCOM, so that's with U.S. Special Operations Command. They're based in Tampa, Florida. I mentioned about collaboration. you can look at the hub that's right above it, almost at 12 o'clock, which is HSWERX. I'm going to ask Bridget from our team to post in the chat just a link to a technology that is available to license from HSWERX. And this is a collaboration opportunity where DHS and Army ERDIC work together. So if you've seen, of course, you're familiar with the NFL draft, the Super Bowl, the Indy 500. Those are protective barriers around those events that are really helping to safeguard folks. That is a collaboration between DHS and Army ERDIC, and that is the technology that's able to be licensed by innovators, manufacturers like yourself as well. So if there's interest there, please feel free to visit that and reach out to our sister hub, HSWERX. Next to HSWERX is HSWERX, that's a CIA labs. At 3 o'clock is Ardent Forge. That's the newest hub to join the DefenseWERX family. And then I'll talk just very briefly at approximately 4 o'clock. You see there is FleetWorks. I'll give a quick story. There was a need from U.S. Coast Guard for a really hard to source part for a U.S. Coast Guard ship, and worked with FleetWorks, collaborated, and they were able to use additive manufacturing to source and create that part that took a matter of a couple of days as opposed to months. So I know there's a lot going on in the state of Ohio. I know in Youngstown with additive manufacturing, America Makes, as well as all throughout the state of Ohio. So I'm very excited to see that type of growth and the manufacturing that's going on in that space as well. As many of you know, the Department of Homeland Security was formed shortly after 9/11. Today, it's the third largest U.S. federal government agency. We, HSWERX, our hub, we support all the components that are within DHS. And these are all the components. And again, it ranges from Coast Guard, Customs and Border Protection, you have TSA, all the way down to countering weapons of mass destruction. So bottom line up front, we're here to support them. When they have challenges, we work with all of you to get those solved as rapidly as possible. I'll spend a minute just talking about why HSWERX on this slide. So we work with industry, academia, and national labs, bringing all those folks together to help solve challenges for DHS and all the components. When I mention industry, that could be the 1 or 2 person startup where she or he's operating out of the garage up to the Fortune 500 companies. It's a very low barrier of entry to work with us as well as our other hubs. We move at the speed of innovation, not at bureaucracy. And if you look on the bottom left, it's highlighted there in that block. It says non-FAR based. So we have the flexibility to utilize a number of contracting mechanisms. So we're able to enter into B2B, business to business agreements on behalf of our government partners. It's important to note, though, that we are neutral. So we remain neutral through and through. Our government partners make the final down selects. And then when they do, that's when we're able to move forward, enter into a business to business agreement, and then get those challenges solved as quickly as possible. The last point I'll cover on this slide is on the bottom right. It's highlighted, the 3 words there: discover, engage, and accelerate. This has been successfully tried, tested, these methods, these mechanisms, and this model by our organization for over a decade. And it is proven to help solve challenges for our government partners by finding the latest, greatest, best of breed technologies, getting them into the hands of our warfighters and those securing the homeland as quickly as possible. I'm going to talk about this slide just very high level, but just in the last 2 years, in partnership with our team at DHS, we've been able to facilitate over 25 non-FAR based efforts, and that's on behalf of 7 components. So I know we'll go ahead and post in the chat a couple examples there for links. One being Beyond Visual Line of Sight, which took place around this time last year, and that was with Customs and Border Protection. We just had amazing teams and companies there came together to help work on and solve a challenge. That was a feature by DHS in a feature article, and it went out to almost 200,000 people. Again, that link will be in the chat there on that. In the top left, you'll see there 100 million. So we completed a effort with TSA. They down selected a performer. We moved into a business to business agreement with that performer. The cost was $255,000. So the cost to do that particular effort, which is now rolling out nationwide, is saving TSA $100 million. So again, it just shows how our hub operates, how we as an organization are able to operate. In the middle, you can see there's just the savings for how we negotiate B2B agreements. And then on the top right, this is just an example. We've been running some efforts with Coast Guard recently, and they've already talked about running $10 million through our hub in FY26. A lot of folks may not be familiar with, but you can actually license technology. So if you maybe aren't familiar with tech transfer and commercialization, you can license technologies from the Department of Homeland Security as well as other government agencies and also most universities. We have a tab on our site for licensing. So we would encourage you to take a look at, scroll through and see. There's a number of technologies that may be of interest to you. So if you do have interest, please submit the intake form and we'd love to talk to you about that as well. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up my side of the presentation here. But I really want to encourage you, for any of you that are coming from industry, from academia, from startups to larger companies joining us today, it's critical to have you get involved, to join our ecosystem. I know they'll put a link in the chat there as well. You can join all of the DefenseWERX hubs so that when we push out opportunities, you have that opportunity to join those as well. I know we've seen, you're going to hear from Ed Kiernan here in a minute, but Ed has been to many of our efforts, been present with a number of the components. I know Justina also as well has been on certain webinars with us as well. So highly encourage you to engage, get involved, and see what type of solutions that you may have so that when opportunities are sent out, you'll be able to answer that call if it fits the area that you operate. So with that, I want to thank you all for your time and attention. And now I want to turn it over to Ed Kiernan of Stream Engine, and then it's going to go over to Justine Blank of Engineered Products of Ohio. These are leaders that are proving how innovators like you can turn your bold ideas and breakthroughs to really strengthen our nation's security. So over to you, Ed.
Thanks, Craig, and thanks for having me. A lot has happened in the last year. So for those of you that were on last year, I think you'll hear a little bit of a different story and how we're advancing through the system, which has been quite a story, which I'll tell you a little bit about today. So thanks to Craig, thanks to Scott Loveland, Joey Scott, Brandon Thorson, and Billy Grill all have been instrumental in our progress, and I can't thank you enough. We affectionately call them Team Ohio, which will make a lot more sense here in a minute. We also got our introduction within this system at CIFIC, which I'll explain a little bit more. CIFIC is based in Augusta, Georgia. And since those conversations, we're about to enter an agreement with them. I'm going to go through the deck relatively quickly and then have just slideshow, but I want to talk more about the experience that I've had and more about the experience we've had in the space. I think we just lost the deck. Deck, can somebody pull up the deck, please?
Yes, I will get that pulled up for you. I gotta just close it and come right back into it. Bear with me just a second.
No problem, no problem. Again, I'm going to go through the deck quickly and let you guys read it as opposed to me reading it to you. But I can talk a little bit about what we've built, and I say this humbly. My business partners and I built a dual-use technology company that was originally built for the media and advertising world, which is my background, sports, entertainment, media. We quickly found out that it had a dual-use application, which was a new term to me. A dual-use product used to be something like a Jeep that could be used for commercial applications as well as military and intelligence applications. Okay, there's the deck, great. The world has changed, and obviously the modern conflict has changed. We've got 365 days a year, 24/7. You can keep the deck going, please. 24/7, and the U.S. is certainly falling behind. I can tell you because I've had a peek behind the curtain, and innovation is really speeding up. Legacy contractors can't keep up. They're not entrepreneurial enough, and I've seen that already. What we've built, like I said, out of necessity for a product that we needed for global marketing when we were working with Intel and on the Olympics and different major sports programs. What we realized halfway through it was instead of us geo-targeting people that I could market to online and find their like-minded peers, we can do the same thing with the bad guys. So what we decided to do was shift our focus. I like to say our mission changed, and we've been actively focusing on military and intelligence, law enforcement. We just signed a large deal in Phoenix, Arizona yesterday, which we'll be announcing soon. Those are our two main focuses. We're also focusing on sports, obviously global sports. One of my background and a lot of my connections are in everything from Olympics to FIFA to the NFL, et cetera. So we plan on eventually getting into that space. We got connected to AFRL through our friends at Right Pat, and that's really where things started to materialize for us. We walked into the Air Force Military Lab in Rome, New York, 5 days before the Christmas holiday in 2024. We were offered a CRADA on the spot, which is the first time they've ever done that. Since then, we have been speeding through the process. I didn't know at the time, but AFRL is the number one cyber, nuclear, and quantum facility. They are quickly moving us through the process. As you can see here, originally built for some of the brands that I worked with on Madison Avenue, and now we're ultimately deploying this technology at the edge. Countless opportunities. Craig mentioned before, he's got a great team down in DC, Kinsey and Bridget, who do a lot of amazing work. We've been to probably 4 or 5 of their events, and it really gives you the opportunity to get out there and hustle like I would have in the commercial space. Get in there, really meet the end users, find out who they are, find out who their pain points are, have a conversation. If it makes sense, they take your business card and they follow up. And we've been lucky enough to build something, and this is really our secret sauce. The fact that our system is multimodal, it hears everything, sees everything, and listens to everything, ultimately, so a human being doesn't have to watch a video stream. One of the use cases that we were asked early on is, so theoretically, you guys could take every TikTok video from Afghanistan. Yes, we could. And then geo-target that down to it could be everyone from Death to America down to Donald Trump, down to New York City, and it allows you to geo-target social media and query social media just like Google in real time. So we've built something that, like I said, the need for it was in a completely other space, but the fact that we've been able to geo-target these bad guys is really where we're heading. The cyber mechanism was mentioned earlier. We've submitted several CBERs. We've not had much success on that front. Where we have had success is really getting in and having conversations. And we're now in the works with AFRL, working on end user products for the Air Force. That also put us in touch directly with the Army, which now we've connected the Army and the Air Force talking together because the similar end product that they want from us is similar. So obviously working together is an economy of scale. We're in deep discussions with the Navy, the Marines, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, Secret Service, and the NRO. My goal has always been, as we've been building this through the pandemic and seeing it where it could potentially go, we're now there for the first time. We've got the capital raised and are ready to start scaling. What I'd like to do and what our plan is to build our global headquarters in Youngstown, Ohio, as crazy as that sounds, but the majority of the technology and engineers are coming out of Carnegie Mellon, which is 45 minutes away. Our proximity to Wright Pat, our proximity to the AFRL, and the proximity to Washington, D.C. makes tremendous sense for us. What's happening in the state of Ohio in terms of resurgence, rebuilding the Rust Belt, I believe that we can be a spark and a major fire and want to connect that with the universities in the state, starting with Youngstown State. I've had discussions with Jim Tressel, going to be in contact with Marino, Mike Rulli and I've talked, Vivek JD, and ultimately the president, if we have to. We have a product that we were told by the NSA, congratulations, gentlemen, we needed this 10 years ago when we were fighting ISIS. So the brevity and the scale of us getting this to the warfighter globally is our new mission. Getting it in law enforcement so they can start working on gang activity and a lot of the scenarios that you're seeing here, porch piracy. We've built a very powerful tool. And when you hear AI for the good and AI for the bad, luckily we've built AI for the good. It's in the good hands. We want to get it in the good guys' hands, which it will get in the good guys' hands, and we want it to protect American lives here and abroad. So thank you for your time. Team Ohio has been an incredible backer of ours, and Ohio is going to be a tremendous benefit of ours as well. With that, I'm going to hand it to Justine. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you, Ed. I'm going to share my screen here. And can you see that? All right. My name is Justine Blank. I'm the CEO of Engineered Products of Ohio. We are located in Northeast Ohio and have customers all over the country, but we are headquartered here in Trumbull County. So we do embedded RFID technology. And if you don't know what RFID is, after today, you'll know how to spell it, but think of EasyPass. EasyPass is a technology, your credit cards, your little chip is an RFID tag. I'm not going to spend a ton of time of what we do and our technology as if I'm selling to you. How I want to approach this presentation is how we got involved with government contracting as it relates to our technology. So this, we attended a DARPA event, and I put this slide together because these are 3 things that you have to have off the top of your head and be able to articulate this in a couple sentences to very high level people at the drop of a hat. So there are 3 questions you must answer. What is the problem? What is the clearly defined problem, and who says it's a problem? You need to have a customer, whether that's a government, Air Force, or whomever, say that that is a problem. Your innovation, what does your unique technology solve? And then competition, who else solves this problem, or what else solves this problem, and why is yours better? If you can't answer those 3 questions, you probably shouldn't be looking at government contracting in the R&D space. But these, through trial and error, I didn't know that at the very beginning, but this is what I've gleaned over the last 7 years here. The problem, so I'm following this technology, and this is something that we do. The problem in the medical field, there's $765 billion a year of lost medical assets. We developed a patentable RFID tag that you can sterilize. And of course, you don't want this x-ray to come up on your screen. So 50 instruments in Craig's surgery and 50 instruments came out. Our next problem that we solve with RFID is out of stock inventory. If you don't have the parts while you're making a product, you can bring a whole production line down for a 25-cent O-ring. So out of stock inventory is a huge problem, and we've solved it with our vendor managed inventory using RFID. Next problem, and these relate to the military as well as commercial. Ed mentioned dual use technologies, very, very important. These innovation hubs and SIBRs and SITRs, they want technology that is already developed that they can pull over to the military side and be able to add 10 or 20% into it and make it a dual use technology. So we all take for granted that when we jump on a plane, that the brakes are going to work, right? So our adversaries are stealing our intellectual property. China, India, Russia, they are stealing intellectual property by cyber attacking us. And then what's really sad is they've developed a new warfare. Don't need to send a bullet or shoot a missile. They can design parts that are going to fail in the field. It's a new warfare. So what we have done, and again, I'm following this, defining the problem and then making sure that our solution is unique, and that the government, in this case, the Air Force, agrees that this is a problem and our technology solves it. So we developed a anti-counterfeit RFID technology, and we were awarded 1.7 million from the Air Force to further develop this, bring it over from the commercial space and bring this in. On the left-hand side too, I put tech transfer that Craig had mentioned. We're also involved with NASA on tech transfer. So what's really important, and this was part of my my 3 things that you need to make sure that you have, is a customer who says, yes, Justine, we support that we understand that this is a problem and we support this your technology solving this problem. This is just a letter of support from Lockheed Martin, who helped us get a lot of our SBIRs and SITRs. Another customer of ours, Parker Hannifin, same deal, but in the supply chain to the Air Force, Parker Hannifin is a supplier to Lockheed. So if Parker can guarantee that their parts are not counterfeit parts, Lockheed can put them on their fighter jets and they can deliver them to the Air Force. So I'm trying to tie in why it's important to understand those three questions and to be able to articulate them to the government when you're asking them for money to further your research and development. This, however, after you've done all of that, your technology is proven out and you're ready to go to the government. The number one, I think Craig and Ed can all agree, networking is one of the number one DoD engagement strategies. And this is going to be a full slide here. These are the entities that and how we went about our SBIRs and STTRs. You go to your government customers, NASA, Air Force, Army, Navy. Don't forget the primes. They're prime contractors and they're working for those government contractors. So the Lockheeds and the Raytheons and the General Dynamics. And then Craig's DefenseWERX. I'm not going to go through all of his, but the DefenseWERX, as well as AFWERX, DARPA, and all of the research laboratories. And then the state local entities, so the state of Ohio, SBAs, Youngstown State University, I put that in there, and YBI, which is an incubator for small businesses. So I'm going to walk you through how EPI specifically was engaged with DefenseWERX. So I met Craig at a networking event like this, and Craig recommended that we presented our technology to him. And then after seeing our technology, Craig recommended that we join the entire ecosystem of DefenseWERX, and we did. And what's very important is you surround yourself and you listen to the experts in the fields. Craig then said, you could apply to pitch your technology to SOFWERX, one of our sister organizations. And we were awarded that. We applied, we were awarded. I presented to SOFWERX on Tech Tuesday. It was a webinar. And then because of that, we were invited to an invitation-only event down at Tampa at their headquarters. And then we had follow-on contacts from that. And then based on one of the gentlemen from HSWERX was on Tech Tuesday, and he asked us to join HSWERX, and we then as part of that presentation, we were introduced to DevCon, and that's ARL, and we were connected for research and development with the Army Research Laboratory. So if you look at this slide, it's awful busy, but this is how the networking works. And this is how we've been very successful in our government contracting and research and development. Here are the contracts that we have been awarded. We have 4 SBIRs and STTRs, 2 phase 1s, 1 phase 2, and then a direct to phase 2 that we were awarded with the United States Air Force. And out of those, we were awarded 1.07 million and 6 patents out of that. The state of Ohio, don't forget the state and local. We were awarded a $200,000 research and development grant to further some of our research and development for the Air Force. We also have cost shares. So some of the incubators and smaller regional awards that we were awarded are cost shares, and we have been awarded $342,000, of which we had to put $342,000 of our own dollars, and they matched it 1 for 1, and 1 patent was derived from that. Then we have these are really, I didn't know they existed, but I was on a call and I learned about tech transfers. And what that is, like Craig had mentioned, you can do this with HSWERX, or any of the entities, I believe, we were granted 4 patents from NASA Glenn Research in Cleveland. That means that we don't have to develop, pay the money and get patents, but we can use these technologies incorporated into our embedded RFID. Same with Johnson Space Center. We were awarded 1 patent for an evaluation license for something that they developed for the International Space Station. And lastly, this is my things I wish I knew in government contracting. So this is a compilation of 7 years. So this is what I call the government R&D life cycle. First, and what's very important is that you validate your technology. It's a new technology that is solving problems. Secondly, you must speak the language. Ed and I both came over from the commercial world, and when you start working in the Department of Defense, their acronyms, you know, DOD and ABC, PDQ, you need to know those acronyms to be able to sound intelligent, but also to understand what your customers, those government customers, are saying. And then I'm going to put this patents. If you think you shouldn't file for a patent, or you don't know anything about patents, there is something called a preliminary patent. It's a patent that says, I want to be first in line. And even if my technology doesn't work out, I have 12 months to be able to file for a provisional patent. And then it turns over to a full-blown patent. Get the research and find, we have a really good patent attorney in Youngstown, Ohio, but I recommend everyone, if you're going into government R&D, file for a patent as soon as the technology is something that you validated. Secondly here, I'm sorry, lost my bullets here. Know your customer. When my slide before, I was showing all of the government entities, NASA requirements are going to be much different than the Army's or the Air Force. So you must know what entity would best benefit from your technology. So knowing your customer and what they're requiring, don't assume that you know that RFID is going to solve anti-counterfeiting, and that's important to NASA. You have to engage with customers and have them tell you that that technology is important to them. And that's actually a requirement from SBIR and STTR. You have to have a letter of support from one of those government entities. And it doesn't hurt also that you have maybe a prime like Lockheed Martin. I shared my letter of support from Lockheed. I think that went a long way with getting our Air Force contract by having Lockheed say, yes, we support this. And next bullet here is know your competition. And that might, even though it's an innovative new technology, maybe there's another way to solve this problem. Maybe it's a manual way that they write stuff down. It's still something that solves the same thing, but why is your technology better than that of your competition, or a competitive way of solving a problem? You must have a killer proposal for all SBIR, STTR, every government contract that you're looking to gain. You must articulate it down in paper. Guess what you can't do when you apply for an SBIR or STTR? You don't get the opportunity to talk like we are today to Craig. You don't get that opportunity. You have to articulate it in a proposal on paper. So that must be a killer proposal with pictures, and when that, you must engage that person who's evaluating you. So a killer proposal is key to success. Another thing that you don't need to know is it all. I don't need to know, and I don't pretend to know everything, but you need to be smart enough to surround yourself with people who do, like Craig and all of the experts and all of that infrastructure and ecosystem that I displayed on previous screens. And then I feel after all of the tech is validated, I think the number one thing that is going to make you successful is networking and gaining those connections. And all of you being on this call today, you've taken a step and you're trying to create networks and connections. And I'm going to give everyone a gift here today. I'm going to introduce you to your, you've already been, but I'm going to introduce you to your first connection here. Thank you, Craig, for letting me use your image. So Craig is just an example of getting into the ecosystem and getting connections. And then as I showed in a previous slide, Craig gave us recommendations, and then we were able to start infiltrating that DefenseWERX system. So that's it. I thank you for your time. Again, my name is Justine Blank. We've had a lot of success in the SBIR, STTR. And thank you, Craig and Daisha, for including Ed and I in this presentation.
Absolutely. That was a wonderful presentation, Justine. Ed, thank you both very much. And of course, to our audience, if you guys have any questions, please utilize the chat box or the Q&A function there at the bottom of your screen. As Justine and Ed both mentioned, you have a wealth of knowledge between these three presenters here today. So I certainly encourage you to drop a few questions in the chat. And while you type up your questions, I do have a few just to get us started here. My first question actually is going to be for Craig, the director of HSWERX. So just for the audience, of course, you talked a bit about what your organization does and how it can support small businesses. A more specific question that I want to poke at: how does HSWERX help to de-risk or minimize the risk for innovation for small businesses that may not have a huge R&D budget?
That's a great question. Thank you very much for that. Again, we really depend upon bringing in industry, academia, national labs, bringing everyone into the room, as well as other government agencies, to work alongside DHS, the components, to help them solve their challenges. So when you do that, and you have that shared knowledge, we're able to move it forward, to really vet out the problem set, work towards building out the requirements, and really going all the way back and really identifying, even as Justine pointed out, right, in her presentation, really defining the problem and making sure you understand what that is first before you start. So as we advance through our works process and mechanisms, it really gets us to the stage to where our government partners are in a situation to where they can then decide on who they want to choose, and which is a really great point that we love because they can actually choose one or more performers, right? So they may have someone like Ed and Justine that they may choose to put together, and we can put them both under one business-to-business agreement if they have a total solution for our government partners. So it's a great question. And again, it's a lot of fun for us on our end to be able to work with so many innovators and problem solvers and being able to bring them together to come with a very powerful best of breed solution.
You're on mute, Daisha.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought you were raising your hand. You had something to add. You were correcting me. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Craig, for your response there. I think that helps the small businesses that are in attendance understand the full depth and breadth of how HSWERX can help their businesses and support their R&D efforts. A question for Ed Kiernan of Stream Engine. You talked about a lot of the different things that you have been working on in your organization and where you guys kind of intend to go here in the future. And without giving away too much of your special sauce, again for the audience, looking ahead, are there trends in defense-related R&D that Ohio small businesses should be paying attention to that you could speak to?
Yeah, I think, the AI revolution is here. I'm not a technical guy. I'm a business guy. I'm a marketing guy. So I've been indoctrinated into it, kind of like I've been indoctrinated into the government space. The AI technical coding side of it is something that needs to be on the forefront, in our from elementary schools on, certainly in our colleges, and I know it's been discussed at a state level. To me, knowing that the knowledge base of that, to the point where I sent my own son to University of Colorado to go learn how to code. So that is the future. If you can sit down behind a computer and write code and stand up in front of a room and sell like I have my whole life, you'll be a ninja. So to me, that is the future. It's one of the reasons I want to put our headquarters here. It's another reason I want to partner with Youngstown State and Carnegie Mellon and a lot of the great institutions in Ohio, but I mentioned Carnegie Mellon for that specific reason. So there's a need for that. That's going to be my big push, and the fact that we're going to hopefully be able to do that politically with all the people in the state of Ohio that I mentioned earlier is something that really drives us every day.
Thanks so much. And Nathan Overby is echoing your points. Learning the code is absolutely key. And
And if
of
anyone,
course,
reach out to me on LinkedIn. If anybody wants to reach out or chat or talk about business, I mean, reach out to me. I'm happy to jump on a call or whatever. Always available. So.
see, and that ties right back into Justine's final slide of her presentation, that networking will certainly help your R&D efforts, not just what you know, but who you know in these innovative spaces will certainly help to grow your business, far and beyond. Speaking of that, Justine, if I may ask, I think that last slide that you had was very powerful in terms of the things that you wish you knew at the very beginning of your innovation efforts. And again, for some of these audience members that have various levels of experience in their innovation efforts of their organization. Um, just to reiterate, if there's one small piece of advice that you could give a small business owner who's considering getting involved with organizations like HSWERX, but they're not sure if they're ready, what would you tell those guys?
Yeah, so if you think you are, and you've answered the first question that yes, our innovation can solve problems, and you have a specific problem, I would reach out to somebody like Craig. Is a could be a first step for, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and you can pitch those types of things. And then Craig's going to be very honest, and anyone that I've dealt with in the government space, they're going to be honest with you and say, you know what, DARPA told my co-founder and I, you guys are so far ahead of what DARPA would fund. We want a concept in a light bulb in your head. And we were maybe at a TRL level 6 when we came to them. And TRL level, remember, you need to know the lingo. TRL level means technology readiness level. And when DARPA said that to us, we traveled to go to their seminar. And when they said, we wouldn't be interested in you, Justine, they're going to be very honest with you and open. So I would say, don't be afraid to reach out to people. Craig is creating these types of ecosystems to give you that litmus test.
Well, and I put in the chat hustle, and I said that, part joking, part true. I mean, the harder you hustle, the more people you meet. To Justine's point earlier, you've got 2 minutes, and if you can nail it in 2 minutes, you might just get a customer. So you have to have something that's compelling. You have to get to it really quickly, and they have to understand, wow, you're different. And that is not an easy thing to do. But the more you hustle, the more opportunities. I get on webinars all the time. Joining the ecosystems, the people that I've met through the webinars, the people that I reach out to on LinkedIn, it's just, you got to get up and get after it. And if you get after it every day, you'll get it in the right room eventually, and good things will happen.
Yes, another thing just to add on that, your technology, you should practice in front of a mirror, or those 3 questions, your technology and what problem it solves, and then why is yours better. Practice those and be able to articulate those like it's it like the back of your hand before you call Craig. Don't make Craig be your test bed, but have those down, so when Craig is asking you these questions, you boom, 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 you have them.
But in all seriousness, I mean, the network works, and you can see why it's in place. You can see how it's in place. You can see that if you have something, you will be moved through through all of the different phases to ultimately get business, if in fact you have something that they want. So the ecosystem to connect in is this one and all of the different constituents, and then just educate yourself as much as you can. And I still learn new things every day and every week. So I think that's part of the excitement of it is, there's a new rock to uncover, which is a new rock. And I mean that as revenue, just because the space is so vast within the government sector.
One more thing to add on that, if you have a technology like we have RFID, and in order to solve the problem for the government, I needed an AI component. Guess what I can do? I could partner with Ed. That's allowable as a small business. You don't have to know everything, and your technology doesn't have to have everything to solve the problem. So again, back to networking, if you got an SBIR, STTR, depending on which program you went with, you have a percentage that you can partner. I could partner with Ed and pay him as my subcontractor.
I have a drone guy that I need to connect you with in Denver. So there it is in real time, everybody. See, I came up with that on this call. I'm like, I got to connect her to Trent. So yeah, I've got a guy that's killing it with the Army right now with his drones that you need to partner with. So there it is in real time. Craig, how was that? It's almost like we scripted it that way.
That was perfect. It couldn't get any better than that. Yep.
But in all seriousness, thanks for having us. I mean, this works. I mean, we're living proof that it works. So how can we continue to spawn more companies, more entrepreneurs, more innovation in this state, which historically hasn't been known for it? Let's go. Now's the time.
Absolutely. I love that you guys are able to constantly kind of keep that networking going and helping each other to grow throughout your connections in the innovation space. I think that's one of the surprising, unexpected benefits. It's not just what the organizations like HSWERX can do to help you, but like you mentioned, the subcontracting relationships that you can build and other ways that you can kind of grow your business up and out as you kind of begin and continue those R&D efforts. I certainly want to thank our presenters today, Director Craig Zamary, Justine Blank, and Ed Kiernan for your wonderful presentations. I hope that the audience got as much out of this presentation today as I did. And as I mentioned before, all of the iterations of the Summer Innovation Series are recorded and will be posted on the Ohio Apex Accelerators YouTube. And as well, I hope that you all are able to join us for our future presentations. I do believe next week's presentation was rescheduled to September, which is our presentation on foci. So on September 3rd is when we'll all be back together again, and that will be a great presentation featuring NASA Glenn Research Center and lots of their innovative efforts and ways that they can support small businesses as well. So I hope you guys are able to join us again in September. Thank you again to our wonderful presentations here today. And I hope everyone is able to enjoy the rest of their day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.